Weather report, 74 degrees. The good news, the bad news is it's cloudy. It's been rainy pretty much all day here in the Big Apple. Around 2:30, 3 o'clock or so this afternoon, left field was a lake. It was underwater. That's how much rain fell here in Flushing. But for the moment, the skies have cleared, and we will get started here a few minutes beyond the 7:10 projected start time. 7:40, our estimated first pitch for the Braves, who are seeking win number 89 on the year. They have been dominant against New York this season, winning 6 of 7 games so far here at Citi Field. And Brian Sitker has pretty much his A lineup, Joe, as you'd expect on the Toyota starting line, with Touki Toussaint locking horns with the man they call Thor, Noah Syndergaard, who's got the ball for New York. He's looking for his 13th win.
I think you can expect to see the same thing tomorrow night against DeGrom, too, Chip. Against these tough pitchers, he wants his starting 9 to face these guys in preparation for the postseason. But Noah Syndergaard, 26 years old now, 6'6", 245 out of Mansfield, Texas. Originally in the Toronto organization, was a supplemental first-round pick by Toronto back in 2010 and traded to the Mets. He's 12-4 on the year, a 3.36 ERA. Had some injury problems again this year that caused him to miss some time, but his last 6 games at home, outstanding. 6-0 over those 6 games, a 3.50 ERA. For the year, 139 innings, 144 strikeouts, a 2.59 average against him. He's also had some trouble with the Braves. 6 starts against Atlanta in his career. He's 0-2. With an ERA over 4. We'll see how it turns out tonight.
And that's the highest ERA for Syndergaard against any opponent he has faced more than one time in his major league career. So, again, important games for the Braves. Tune-ups of sort against a, if not number 1 pitcher, certainly 1A in rotation for New York. The Braves will have Jacob deGrom in opposition tomorrow. Jason Vargas will pitch Game 3. Weather forecast tomorrow also calls for some rain. Thursday is supposed to be absolutely beautiful but clear. So, hopefully we won't be interrupted any further than we've been tonight. Sparse crowd here in New York, but that will change this weekend. As we said, David Wright will get a chance to start on Saturday. And as we mentioned a moment ago, we wish David Wright all the best in his final game as an active player with the New York Ball Club. Ronald Acuna is going to be the man that gets things started for the Braves. Again, Atlanta comes to town, Joe, red hot, winning 5 straight games. And one of their more impressive victories came in their last outing against the Phillies. The so-called hangover game where all the shock troops were in there facing Aaron Nola. Well, the Braves beat Nola in somewhat surprising fashion, I guess, after earning the division championship the night before.
Yeah, everybody came out and played well, played hard as if it was still a midseason game. There was no hangover. The Braves won that game 2-1. And they're going to be playing a New York team for 3 days that has played good baseball, some of their best baseball of the year. As you look at the standings for the NL Best record, the Braves still a half game ahead of LA if they were to play the Dodgers, which as of today, that's who they would play in the postseason. But that's a half game lead for their home field advantage. And only 3 games behind the Cubs for the best overall home record. The Mets 14-8 in September. They are 10-3-2 in their last 15 series played. They're playing good baseball. They're driving in runs. Some of their young players are coming around. So if they get some good pitching down the stretch here, they're going to finish out on a good note.
And they're 73-83 on the season. The first at the helm for Mickey Callaway, the New York manager. So here we go. Ronald Acuna Jr. ready to lead off against Noah Syndergaard, whose first pitch is on the way, and a check swing foul ball gets things started. Strike 1. Ronald batting .289 on the year, 26 homers, 58 driven in, 53 runs since he's been placed in the leadoff spot. That's exactly what you want your number 1 hitter to do. And right there for a strike, a perfect pitcher's pitch. And that is where Syndergaard apparently likes to live. Everything is down, everything's moving. And 97 in that down and away quadrant, that's a tough place to make your living as a hitter.
Yeah, it's interesting that with his 97-mile-an-hour gas that he prefers to pitch down as opposed to challenging too many hitters upstairs where he can get away with it with that kind of velocity.
You see the rain falling behind Syndergaard as Acuna swings and misses. That's a 92-mile-an-hour slider. And there's the first out. Acuna's retired on strikes. Here's Ender Inciarte.
He'll put a two-seamer on you too if you're left-handed and try to run the ball away from you. Not a lot of break, but certainly effective, as Chip said, for a slider at that kind of speed.
He has the highest average fastball velocity, highest average changeup velocity, highest average slider velocity. And he's got his first out. Ender Inciarte, the batter. He's had a terrific run of late. Ender's got 7 hits in his last 13 tries and takes strike 1. Again, every effort will be made to get 5 innings in this game tonight. The forecast calls for more rain tomorrow. It's the last visit for the Braves to New York. And with so much on the line for Atlanta as far as postseason seeding is concerned, you got to get the games in. Field's been covered all afternoon. Infield looks to be in great shape. I'd imagine the outfield's pretty soggy. So we'll see how the footing is for the men in left center and right tonight. And fouled away. Still 0-2 for the Braves center fielder. Tough enough to hit this guy, I imagine, but trying to do it with rain falling around you, that's got to be almost impossible. The 0-2 pitch. He is fouled away.
Nice for these guys, for most of them in the lineup, to have had what amounts to 2 days off coming into this outing today. It's like it's picked up a little more again since they got the tarp off the field.
That just missed inside. Just missed Ender, that is. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's what I was talking about a little before 3 o'clock. Lake City. Look at that. What a mess. But you wouldn't know it. Here in the top of the first. And that's taken low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Thanks to good drainage.
Yeah, Flushing is known for their good drainage.
Yeah.
The pitch is popped toward Rosario at short. He'll drift back. We'll have some soggy cleats, but Inciarte is retired, and quickly 2 out for Freddie Freeman. Here's the part of the Braves lineup that has done so much damage against the Mets. Not surprisingly, Freddie Freeman's involved in that. He and Nick Markakis have combined for 47 hits, 4 homers, and 24 RBIs head-to-head against Mets pitching. Freddie looking for a 100 RBI season. He's got 95, and he jumps on the first one and hammers that into the corner softly. Long run for Nimmo. He'll swim over to the corner and make the play, and Freeman stands at second. A 2-out double for the Braves first baseman, his 41st of the year.
Yeah, with the rain and low cloud cover, it's kind of hard to find Nimmo, isn't it?
Yes.
Good swing by Freddie, turning on that one. Good start to his series against a very good pitcher. And it's coming down harder again. Darn it.
Nick Markakis, the batter. The Braves have been so good with 2 outs this year. Let's see if Atlanta can jump on front or jump in front of Syndergaard here. And that just missed outside. Ball 1.
The last thing either one of these teams, but especially the Braves, want to do is play a doubleheader tomorrow or Thursday. And the worst case scenario is that if the game had meaning, to have to come back on Monday and finish the season.
One 1-0 pitch. And that just missed. Ball 2. Freddie's getting a big lead out at second base. there at 97. Well, that's easy heat, isn't it? 2 balls and a strike.
If they can just keep him healthy.
It truly is raining sideways. Look at that shot from center field. And the pitch.
Syndergaard has made some adjustments in his delivery to try to tighten things up. Not a whole lot unlike Mike Foltynewicz, shorten things up. He also is concerned about base runners, guys stealing on him, and he was trying to change the way he worked out of the stretch too.
One of the issues Syndergaard has always had, Joe, is holding base runners. I would assume that's a big part of it for him. Gives up a lot of stolen bases. He's very aware of that. And now he's battled back to a 3-2 count. Runner at second, 2 outs. Camargo on deck. And fouled away. Good cut.
That was a pretty good fight off at 99.
Great battle here with Markakis and Syndergaard.
It's really a nice thing Brian Snitker did on Sunday, letting Nick and Freddie start the game and then taking them out before the top of the second inning and let the crowd acknowledge them and their seasons. It was terrific.
Pitch number 8 of this sequence. And Markakis draws the walk. So Syndergaard didn't want much to do with Markakis. He'll take his chances with Johan Camargo, but that's been a dangerous gamble. Camargo's had a terrific run since June the 1st, as you know, and he's up to 75 RBIs.
Third on the team.
And Camargo with 18 home runs, 4 of those have come against the Mets. Braves had settled for a skinny single right here to put him in front.
Pretty good pitch.
Yes, sir. Called the ball, though, and Syndergaard didn't like that. Called a strike against Ender Inciarte, so a little inconsistent already is Chris Conroy. It benefited Camargo with the first. Now the second pitch is hammered toward right. Will that stay fair? It is foul. And fan reaching over the railing almost had a chance to make a circus catch. And Brandon Nimmo helps him out anyway. Johan can turn on a fastball, can't he?
Yeah, you'd think that he's been talking to Kurt Suzuki the way he does that. But crowding the plate, even against a guy who's throwing in the upper 90s, he's inviting him to pitch inside.
Now the 1-1. So it's a ball and 2 strikes for the Braves third baseman Johan Camargo. He's batting .351 this year with runners in scoring position.
He is right up on the inside line.
Got his pants tucked under his cleats, so he's ready to go. 1 ball and 2 strikes. popped up. Rosario drifts back at shortstop. He says he's got it, and battling the raindrops, makes a smart two-handed catch. Atlanta strands a pair in the top of a scoreless and rainy first. Base runners, Syndergaard stranded them after the first inning offensively for Atlanta. Always a treat to watch this young man pitch, and this is an important outing for him, Joe, as he looks to run his mark to 3-1.
These are his numbers as a starter. So he's made 4 starts, .327 ERA, just a .173 average against him. Pretty good, wouldn't you say? 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. 22 years old, 6'3". 215, his 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Number 1, time to shine. If you wanted to make an impression, this may be your last start where you could show what you got and earn yourself a spot on the postseason roster. An opportunity, take advantage here in the big city to show everybody here who you are and what you can do.
And he's facing a Mets team that, as you said, Joe, and rightfully so, is finding its footing in September. The Mets are 14-8 this month. And the man leading off for them, Ahmed Rosario's had a large part in that. 69 hits since the All-Star break, and Rosario hitting .319 in September. And this is one of the youngsters they're really counting on to help improve their defense, improve their average age, and hopefully be a cornerstone for them going forward in 2019 and beyond.
Well, if you remember, he was like their number 1 prospect. He and Dominic Smith kind of co-number 1s, but he did not arrive on the scene and make his mark. It took him a while to get it going, but he's really playing well right now.
He's come out of the gate with 3 straight off the plate and make it 4 in a row. A leadoff walk for Rosario, and that's how the Mets' first inning starts. Mickey Callaway's the New York manager. The Mets had a disastrous month of June, which shipwrecked their season. Remember, they started 11-1 this year. Injuries have been a very big problem for them, most notably with Yoenis Cespedes out with heel surgery. But this guy's been a nice find in the middle of their Toyota starting lineup. Jeff McNeil, their second baseman. He has 68 hits since his debut in late July. And Tukey hasn't thrown a strike yet. Ball 1.
Check out that bat. An old Nellie Fox type bat. No knob on it. Fat handle. Chokes up on it. Tukey. Strikes. For those of you who don't know who Nellie Fox was, Nelson Fox was a second baseman and a darn good one for the Chicago White Sox for years.
There's a strike to McNeil. 2 balls and a strike to count. There are a lot of folks who think McNeil's shown enough to be the Man whose job it'll be to lose in spring training next year at second base for New York. Fly ball toward right and playable for Markakis, and Rosario retreats. 1 on, 1 out. So you've got Rosario getting on base, McNeil getting him over, and it's been this guy that's been bringing him in. What a month for Michael Conforto, the New York left fielder, who seems, Joe, to be finally fully healthy after that horrible shoulder injury suffered last year.
Yeah, he had to have that repaired, his right shoulder, his non-throwing shoulder. 27 homers, 80 RBIs, 8 homers, 27 driven in September.
And a strike from Tukey, 0-1. Conforto's got a 4-game hitting streak coming into play tonight. So he's hitting third for a reason. He's been terrific since the All-Star break. And as that went in for a strike, took a little off. Good pitch, 0-2. That's fouled at the plate. There are myriad problems that have plagued the Mets in 2018. A lot of those problems were covered up, as I said, after that 11-1 start. The Mets have the second lowest team batting average in the National League. Surprisingly, they're 5th from the bottom in team ERA. Defensively, they're around the middle of the pack. But it's the injuries that really shipwreck their chances for Mickey Callaway. I mentioned Syndergaard spent time on the disabled list. Jason Vargas got off to a terrible start. Cespedes has been hurt virtually all year long.
And Matt Harvey, at least as a Met, couldn't get on track, so they traded him.
Travis d'Arnaud, elbow surgery. It was one thing after another for New York as far as the injury bug was concerned. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and a throw to first. Going to keep an eye on Rosario with 22 stolen bases. But clearly the hope of the Mets is their so-called big 4. As you said, if they can stay healthy, DeGrom, Syndergaard, Wheeler, and Matz. This one's rolled toward first. Freddie is going to take the sure out at first base, and the runner to second with 2 outs. In games pitched this year by those 4 pitchers for New York, the Mets are 57 and 55 this year. And so for New York, keep those guys in rotation, get your back of the rotation straightened out, bullpen, get Cespedes healthy, and then go back to work next season. As Jay Bruce bats with a runner at second and 2 outs.
Yeah, the surgery to the heels of Cespedes, a big setback for them.
Jay Bruce has also spent time on the disabled list with a right hip problem.
He also had some fasciitis problems with his feet too.
So Bruce trying to finish his final week with a flourish for New York. No balls and a strike to him. No score, bottom of the first. Rainy night in New York. And even count, 1-1. Fans will take any kind of cover they can get from the rain.
Good off-speed pitch there.
They sold that well. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Big lead by Rosario at second. And time is called by Kurt Suzuki. Even the dogs are trying to find cover on Bark in the Park night. I'm guessing that's not a lab.
Probably not.
Just a guess. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the curve stayed high. It's even, 2-2. Shift on for Bruce, the pitch. And that missed, full count. 10 balls, 8 strikes for Toussaint. Todd Frazier, the third baseman's on deck. The pitch is grounded foul. Cubs and Pirates are trying to play tonight. Last report we heard, it was raining at Wrigley Field, so that game hasn't begun yet. Washington's in action, leading Miami 3-0 in the fourth. Brewers and Cardinals are in St. Louis. That's a huge series. And the Dodgers in Arizona out west get started in about an hour and a half.
Anthony Rendon with a 3-run homer in the first for the Nationals.
Wonder if he's having a big enough year for a Gold Glove in DC. He's got a great defensive season, but they'll have to unseat Nolan Arenado, which is a difficult task. He's the Colorado star. And did Bruce go? He did not. Ball 4. And Bruce works a 2-out walk. Second walk of the inning for Tukey. And now it's a righty-righty matchup here in the first.
It's an odd finish for the Colorado Rockies, playing the Phillies right now, but then they've got the Nationals coming to town, so Rendon and Arenado can go at it mano-a-mano.
Here's Frazier. 18 homers, 58 driven in for Todd. Yeah, right now I don't think Tukey can feel the baseball. It is flying all over the place.
Yeah, he might be having a little trouble with grip. He's having a real hard time throwing first pitch strikes.
Got to be tough to try to get the hand dry in a driving rainstorm. Haven't seen him go to the rosin much. And that one missed down and in. Ball 2.
This is very unlike him. I'm going to hang it all on grip. Wet baseball.
Will Frazier have a green light? Going in for a strike, 3-1.
He walked 16 in 23 innings coming in. That's a lot. But it didn't seem like they were in bunches,
Right.
or lumped into one inning like this one so far with his command issue. But still willing to throw that sinker or his changeup behind in the count. That's a good sign.
So a full count. Runners will be moving with 2 outs. There they go. And the pitch is cut on and missed. How about that comeback by Tukey Toussaint? He walks 2, throws 28 pitches, but shuts down the Mets. No score heading to the second. damage to your hair. That dog's hair was perfectly straight 10 minutes ago, but no such luck here in New York, where the rain is really coming down hard. The groundskeeper was out talking with the umpires in between innings as this steady downpour continues here in New York. Again, every effort will be made to get 5 innings in, so let's see if the Braves can get a run or two early and see what Mother Nature will do the rest of the way. Kurt Suzuki's our Zaxby's indescribably good player. He's sent to lead off the Braves second.
Check out that OPS over the last 15 ball games. Outstanding, great average. Still driving the ball. 12 homers on the year.
So both Syndergaard and Toussaint threw a lot of pitches in their opening inning. 24 for Syndergaard. And the first of the second is off the plate to Kurt Suzuki. And those are some big raindrops.
Yes, they are. A lot of similarities between what Syndergaard's doing in the windup now and what we're accustomed to seeing from Mike Foltynewicz. Just kind of a slide to the side and then the leg kick. No big arm action.
As long as the mound looks to be in good shape, probably won't have any interruptions. Infield still looks pretty good. No shine on the dirt. But that may change here in another 5 or 10 minutes. And the forecast says the rain's supposed to stop in about an hour and a half. But it's still a good 60-70% chance of rain until tomorrow morning. And downstairs, ball 4. So the walks by the starters are even at 2 apiece. The Braves have a leadoff pass to Suzuki, and that'll bring up Ozzie Albies.
This can't be fun for the pitchers who are trying to figure out how to hang on to the baseball. They both throw hard. Obviously, Syndergaard throws harder, and as a hitter, you want to make sure he has an excellent grip on the baseball.
Yeah, right.
So this is one of those times where I still believe even the hitters would vote for the pitchers being able to use pine tar or whatever it takes to get a good grip.
See what Ozzie has in mind here. And he swings the first one, skies it foul. 0-1 your count. Try spell for Ozzie. He's got 4 hits in his last 32 tries.
Man, is it coming down? Ooh. Sheets now.
And it's a good take. 1 ball, 1 strike. Syndergaard likes to pitch down in the zone. Ozzie likes to swing at the ball up in the zone. Let's see how Syndergaard attacks him for the first time tonight.
That home run at SunTrust Park the other day by Ozzie was on a low pitch.
Broken bat, Squiver on the infield. The flip to second is all the Mets will get there to force Suzuki. And Kurt might feel like he was on a slip and slide as he got to the second base bag and comes up with a wry smile. He's the first out.
Got right in the kitchen of Ozzie. Kurt. I'm glad he started to slide early, because sometimes on the wet dirt you just stick.
Let's see if Ozzie does some running. Again, Syndergaard does not hold runners well. Big lead. And he is chased back. That was close at first. Albies 13 out of 16 in stolen bases.
He might have been going too. He was leaning a little bit. He's going. He needs a good jump. His slow track. By
the way, we are not popping popcorn in our truck. That's the sound of the raindrops hitting our field microphones.
Look at Dansby there. It's just bouncing off the bill of his helmet. He was out there in the on-deck circle. He's now at the plate. He's soaking wet.
Ozzie leads at first and draws another throw.
I know they've got to try and get this game in, but this is a little much right now, and there is a little shine over there by third base now and behind first on the edge.
And again, you wonder how much more water the outfield can take after we showed you the lake earlier this afternoon. 1-0 pitch. Runner holds, and Dansby fouls it away. Even count. Yeah, John Holland's going to be a busy man in the visitors' clubhouse. Same for the Mets clubhouse, too. There'll be a lot of uniforms getting tossed in the dryer to try to take care of the heavy precipitation that's falling. Lousy weather for man or beast tonight. And again to first. The pitch is golf toward the Braves dugout. Foul. Dansby behind. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dansby's had some good luck against Syndergaard. He's 5 for 10 against him head to head. Tukey on deck, and the pitch to the Braves shortstop. And time was called.
John Holland will have a lot of help over there in the visitors clubhouse. Tony Carullo, visiting clubhouse manager here at Citi Field, finishing up his 50th year with the Mets.
Driven out of play, foul.
Started as a bat boy.
Meanwhile, it's not easy for the Mets defenders either. They've got to stand out in this rain. If the ball is put in play, they've got to make a play. What will surely be a soaking wet baseball. That won't be easy. One ball, 2 strikes. The pitch is shot towards center. Jackson is there to make the play, and Austin retires Swanson. Back to first is Albies, and 2 are out for Tukey. Tukey's 1 for 8. He struck out 3 times in those 8 at bats.
Swings the bat pretty well, though.
Ball 1.
Good fielder. Good base runner. Good athlete.
Joe, you're right. From our position, you can really start to see that shine on the infield now. This very long second inning for Syndergaard. A little sheen. You see the puddles starting to form behind third and behind first.
Yeah, I don't know if Syndergaard was upset with the call he didn't get or the condition of the mound. He was kicking around out there.
That great shot of his spikes. It's like he's standing in brownie mix. the airport's still open. That's good news. The pitch is fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Syndergaard's 18th pitch of the 2nd inning. Here it comes. And it's cut on and missed, and that'll retire the side. So a leadoff walk goes unrewarded for Atlanta. The rainy night continues. No score, game 1.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. By Delta Airlines. And by Georgia Natural Gas. Get $100 when you sign up and use promo code SAVE100.
Time for the bottom of the 2nd inning. The Mets grounds crew will earn their paychecks tonight on this rainy evening. They're getting the infield ready, and a new infielder will test the conditions. And that's Charlie Culberson, who's in for Dansby Swanson. Dansby flied out to center in his lone plate appearances. So new shortstop for Atlanta, and Touki Toussaint will go back to work on this soggy night here in New York. While we have a moment here at Citi Field, let's take a look at this date in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. Back in 2010, Bobby Cox picked up his 2,500th major league win as a manager when the Braves beat Washington 5-0 at Nationals Park. Bobby joined Connie Mack, John McGraw, and Tony La Russa to become the 4th manager to get to 2,500 big league wins.
Boy, is that a milestone.
So not sure if Brian Snitker got Dansby out of the game because of injury or illness or the field conditions, but Charlie Culberson is in after the Braves batted in the 2nd inning.
Dansby hit the ball hard.
Yeah.
Had a couple of good swings.
So as soon as we find out, we'll of course pass that along to you. Quite obviously, at this time of the year when you're going to the playoffs, you don't want your players hurt. And knock on wood, the Braves have been rather fortunate in that regard when it comes to injury. So it'll be Culberson hitting 8th, playing shortstop for Atlanta. And Brandon Nimmo, the Mets right fielder, leads off the 2nd.
Just it's let up a little bit. That'll help.
Nimmo's been an on-base machine for New York. He's reached in 29 of his last 30 games. He is not throwing many strikes tonight. Hopefully he can find a rhythm here in a scoreless game. And that's been his best pitch. 2 balls and a strike. another off-speed strike. 2-2. Nimmo was the Mets' first-round pick in 2011, taken 13th overall that year out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Did not play high school baseball because his high school didn't have a baseball program. He's the first ever first-round pick from the state of Wyoming and was headed to play college ball at Arkansas before the Mets took him and he signed. 3-2 pitch is downstairs, another walk.
We went back, our guys in the truck went back and looked for any sign that Dansby may have hurt himself. His foul ball, his left arm, he kind of favored it when he took it off the bat on this foul ball. Not sure what he hurt there, but obviously in some pain.
He's had some wrist problems, and the Braves' great PR man Brad Hange says Dansby left as a precaution due to left hand soreness. So clearly something barked on that foul ball, and Dansby's taken out of the game after his first at bat. Here's Austin Jackson. Third big league team is the Mets for Austin, who started with the Giants, went to Texas, didn't play there, and then New York scooped him up. And it's in for a strike. It's even 1-1. This is Jackson's 54th game with the Mets. 3 homers, 18 driven in.
These guys at this part of the order have some issues they're dealing with here down the stretch at the end of the season. Frazier 4 for 33, Nimmo 5 for 30, Jackson 4 for 28. Nito behind him 1 for 10. Cooled off a little bit.
So take care of business down here. Don't turn the lineup over if you can avoid it. With base runners on, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Milwaukee has struck first in the first in St. Louis. Brewers 2, St. Louis 1. Watch out for Milwaukee, folks.
They're playing really well.
Brewers are a game and a half behind the Cubs. Out of the way. And the Brewers have the top wild card record. Ryan Braun homered and Jesus Aguilar hit homers. Thank you, Joe, for Milwaukee in St. Louis. The Cardinals have a half-game lead over Colorado for that second wild card. 2-2 pitch. Curve and a beauty. Jackson couldn't pull the trigger, and Tukey has his second strikeout. 1 on, 1 out for the catcher, Tomas Nido.
Got him to flinch. Started it high, and flinched, and it dropped in there.
Nido's 24 years old. Lives in Oviedo, Florida, just east of Orlando. Went to Orangewood Christian High School in Maitland, Florida. And now here with the Mets. They drafted him in the 8th round back in 2012. And that's low, ball 2.
Seems like it's fastball control right now. The ball's moving a lot, keeping it down in the zone for the most part.
There's a strike dropped by Suzuki, but 2-1 the count. Well, the Mets know he doesn't have good fastball command now, so you can't just go up there throwing breaking balls and changeups because they'll sit on that.
Right. but he's got a good change. Good hook to Austin Jackson.
Change-up curveball looks like the combo for Tukey here. And another floater drops in. Nito took it. Back-to-back strikeouts, 2 outs, and Syndergaard's the hitter. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he only needs the change-up of the curveball to get hitters out.
Well, at least here until he gets his bearings with his fastball. But again, a good curve. Nito didn't flinch quite like Jackson did, but gave up on it.
And now Syndergaard, the batter. Throws right, hits left. And I don't see an elbow guard for Syndergaard. 119 average computes to 5 hits and 42 at bats. Alex Anthopoulos knows all about Noah Syndergaard. He was the Toronto GM when they took him in 2010. Then the Mets got him in a deal for R.A. Dickey at the end of the 2012 season. Last year, Syndergaard made just 7 big league starts, tore a lat muscle early in the season, and that pretty much shipwrecked his year. And that's a shame. The season before, in 2016, he went 14-9, made 30 starts, and had a sub-3 ERA. And another breaking ball. It has been a beautiful pitch for Toussaint, who struck out the side after issuing a leadoff walk. Top of the order coming up for Atlanta. The rain has stopped. Let's hope the hitting starts. Scoreless after 2 here in New York. Rain is all but stopped. Let's hope Tukey's starting to settle in. Let's hope Atlanta can get to Noah Syndergaard with our Synovus Greatness Made Here feature. That is Ronald Acuna Jr.
15 runs scored in those 16 games. Very good OPS. And we continue to be impressed with everything he has done, especially since the All-Star break when he went into the leadoff spot. Quite a weapon.
Syndergaard was the final out of the second inning, so he's a little late getting back to the mound. He's got a couple of warm-up tosses left. And there's the final one in preparation for the third. So here we go with Acuna, Inciarte, and Freddie Freeman. Braves have 6 more cracks against Eastern foes. Boy, has Atlanta been good against the division this year. That's why they've taken the big lead they have over now the Washington Nationals, who are the second-place club in the East. Braves are 47-23 against divisional foes, and they have done some of their best work against Miami and these New York Mets.
Yeah, it's amazing. You look at the Mets record against the East, and they have a winning record, 36-34, despite their 4-12 record against the Braves. They've played well within the NL East.
It's pop fly out of play by Acuna. It's no balls, 2 strikes.
An exception of one team, of course.
Right. Well, that's I think going to be the intriguing thing about this New York team. Is it fool's gold, or is the core of this team as currently constructed, and their pitching staff in particular, good enough to vault them back into the upper reaches of Eastern Division play next year?
They have a winning record against every other team.
So that would lead you to believe that maybe they're not as far back as their positioning in the East appears to be. They're 15 out, 10 under. Remember, had that 5-21 June that just ripped their hearts out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I'm told before the game that in one person's opinion, a couple of areas of need for them. Got to figure out center field, got to figure out the plate, got to get their bullpen sorted out. That has not been a good area for them this year.
They'd like a corner outfielder, too.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Acuna. And he chased one off the plate, and Syndergaard has his 3rd strikeout. And Acuna's down swinging twice tonight. 1 away in the 3rd inning.
Slider. Looked like he started off the plate and moved away from it. But thrown as hard as that one is, that's hard to detect as a slider.
Yeah, when your average slider velocity is 93 miles an hour, you're a power pitcher. That's amazing. And down the way for Ender, who popped out short his first time up.
Everybody in the lineup, the regular lineup, had some Midland homestand numbers, but the top 3 guys, Acuna 282, Enciarte 375, and that guy 371. Getting on base and getting it done.
A season full of sung and unsung heroes. Ender's second half is certainly noteworthy. He has really come alive after the All-Star break. He's a different hitter since the All-Star festivities in Washington, and as a result is in the lineup every day, and he is racking up a lot of hits. And this one's tomahawk toward right. Nimmo will splash over and in front of Jackson make the play for the 2nd out. So well struck, but Ender's retired. He's 0 for 2, and Freddie Freeman's the batter. He has the lone Braves hit, and that's nothing new for Atlanta. He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
A couple of homers mixed in there in those extra base hits. That's good to see. And as he was telling Paul Bird at home, at the end of the homestand, that little lull he had lasted longer than he wanted it to, certainly. Longer than he expected it to. Sure gave Kevin Seitzer a lot of credit for those drills they were doing and working on in the cage under the stadium.
No balls and a strike, 2 outs, bases empty. Shift on for Freeman, who didn't get that one. It's 0-2.
That's a 2-seamer that he just tries to sink down and away to left-handed hitters. There's not too many guys who can throw 100 who are trying to do that.
We're talking with Keith Hernandez about that before the game. It's interesting that Syndergaard again has a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, but is trying to sink it in this era where so many hitters go after and high strikes are called. But he's got it working tonight. 1 hit through 2 2/3 innings. He's about to make his 55th pitch. That one sunk off the plate. A ball and 2 strikes. And Freeman didn't get that. A 2-strikeout inning for Syndergaard. First time he's retired Freddie Freeman. He has 4 punch-outs, and the top of the Mets order is coming up.
Frame of work, and you know, when we make the postseason, a lot of teams don't use that 5-man rotation. That's going to leave a few guys out. And I asked Brian Snicker earlier today if Touki could pitch his way in or out of the rotation with this game, and he said he doesn't know that anything tonight could completely make up their minds, but something they do like about Touki is that he hasn't seen the teams that they're potentially going to face up against in the postseason. When I asked Chuck Hernandez what they're hoping to see from Touki tonight, he said, "This is the major leagues. We're evaluating every single day, but I have liked his ability to slow down the game, and he doesn't come unglued mentally, guys."
And I think that's an accurate description, Kelsey, as Ahmad Rosario pops one up into left center field. Pretty well hit on a damp night. And at the edge of the track, Ender makes the play for out number 1. Touki's walked 3 batters, but Joey struck out 4. So when he's gotten himself into trouble, he's been able to wiggle out of his own mess, especially with that really good breaking ball tonight.
Well, the breaking ball really helped him last inning, but he's still got to get a grip, no pun intended, on his fastball tonight and throw it for more strikes, especially, as I said, on the first pitch strikes. And I think what Kelsey just said, talking about Brian and Chuck, is that one of the advantages he would have is they wouldn't know him. They've never faced him before if he's facing a team like the Dodgers.
McNeil flied out to right his first time up. And this is bounced foul and out of play. McNeil's wearing number 68. The way he has swung the bat this year for the Mets, I would presume going into spring training, he ain't going to be wearing 68 down in Port St. Lucie.
I wouldn't think so.
And a bouncing ball is going to sneak through into center field. Another hit for McNeil, his 69th this year. And he's aboard with 1 out. That's the first New York safety of the game.
Well, this is the kind of hitter he is. He just plays pepper. Puts the ball in play, doesn't strike out much. Has a little bit of pop. But his .340 average coming into play tonight was over 200 at bats. It's not like he just had about 25 or 30 at bats since he got called up.
Michael Conforto grounded out to Freddie Freeman his first time up. And ball one. He's thrown strike one to four of the first 12 Mets hitters. And another bounding ball at first, but this one foul.
I think Conforto's found the good Italian restaurants in New York yet.
Well, they're small, but they're all really good, yes.
Either that or they found him.
Yeah. That's one thing about this game. Get young players that burst on the scene, look so good. First round pick, high hopes. They get hurt, but he's all the way back as this one's hammered to deep center. Ender will turn, and that one's off the top of the wall. McNeil's racing around third. Here comes Charlie's throw. That one sails on him, wet baseball. And it's a double for the moment for Conforto. He thinks he might have hit it out of the park. We'll have to take a look at review on this one. For the moment, it's 1-0 New York. Did it get over the orange line and ricochet back?
I would say no. Boundary rule, though, they're going to have a look at it without a challenge. Just to make sure. Deepest part of the ballpark, 408 feet away.
It looks like Conforto needed to hit it 409. If he was to clean up here in the third inning, he'll settle for an RBI double. As we told you, he's had a roasting hot September. For the moment, that's 28 RBIs for him this month. The Mets are playing in their 23rd game.
Left side of your screen. Just missed by inches.
So one would think this would be a very quick review. The Mets have struck first here in the third inning on a two-base hit for Conforto. And the call on the field is confirmed. It is a double, and Conforto now with 81 runs batted in. That extends his career mark in RBIs this year, and that brings up Jay Bruce. And a ground ball that's going to sneak by and into right field. Here comes Conforto around third. Markakis won't have a play. 3 straight New York hits makes it 2-0. For Jay Bruce, his 37th RBI and 20th since coming off the disabled list on August 24th.
Yeah, he has 18 in 18 his last 18 games. Shift was on, but Charlie couldn't knock it down.
Todd Frazier struck out his first time up. New York leads 2-0. We've heard pitchers talk about the difficulties of throwing a wet baseball. They talk about throwing a cue ball. Now they just have no feel as to how it's going to come off the fingers. I would assume it's the same for the outfielders too, especially on a ground ball like Bruce's, where you can almost see the rooster tail of water coming up as it makes its way to the right fielder.
You do not have any idea where it's going to go.
And I think we saw that with Charlie's throw.
Mm-hmm.
You know how good Culberson's arm is, but
I can tell you that there's one guy that the Braves not so many years ago would love have pitching tonight, and that's Gaylord Perry. He just hold his hand out and let the rain hit his hand and then go into his windup.
Now, would that be considered a foreign substance?
I don't think so. Playing with the elements. And he would know how to use it.
Yeah, the story for Tukey tonight, not enough strikes. 33 strikes out of 63 total pitches. And New York has touched him for a couple of runs here in the third inning. McNeil a single, Conforto a double that nearly left the park, and then Bruce guided one through the right side for a run-scoring hit. Posada is a double play ball away from getting out of the inning. Runner goes. The pitch is strike three. Throw to second is going to be close, and they got him. And Bruce came off the bag anyway, and Ozzie comes up a little slowly. It's a strike him out, throw him out double play. That ends the third inning. And the Braves are headed to the fourth inning with Nick Markakis leading off 2-0 New York.
See the sliding.
Adding in the Atlanta second, and a collision at the second base bag by Jay Bruce.
Well, Ozzie's kneeling down right in front of the bag. The throw brought him into the runner's path, but boy, he took a shot from Bruce. But Jay didn't have any place else to go. Watch the knee go down, and then kind of twisted it as Ozzie's foot got pinned against the bag. That was ugly. Hope he's all right.
So New York has jumped in front 2-0 after 3. Markakis will lead off for the Braves. He walked and was left stranded in the opening inning. First couple of innings were played under heavy rain showers. But we had no delay. There's a light misting rain falling now. But compared to the first and second innings, this is Chamber of Commerce weather in New York. So Syndergaard now with the lead delivers strike one. He's riding a 6-game home winning streak. No Met has ever won 7 consecutive games at Citi Field. And there's a line drive to left by Markakis. A base hit leads off the fourth. Softly hit, perfectly placed, and hit number 183 for the Braves right fielder. He's trying to chase down 200 hits. He's got 5 games plus this one left to try to accomplish that.
Nice job on an off-speed pitch, taking it the other way.
Second time Atlanta's put the leadoff man on tonight. First was in the second when Suzuki walked. And Kurtz on deck after Johan Camargo. And out of play foul, a strike. That's upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. New York's other team, the Yankees, is in action tonight. They're winning down in Tampa Bay 8-2. That's an important game. The Yankees are trying to maintain home field advantage in the wild card. The Oakland A's are nipping at their heels for a 1-game playoff.
Congrats to Oakland. They've clinched their place in the postseason. American League is all set.
Boston, Cleveland, Houston, the division winners. Oakland and New York will play for the wild card. The only question is, will it be at Yankee Stadium or will it be in Oakland?
What a year for the A's, though. Out of nowhere.
95 wins.
Yeah.
1-2 pitch. Downstairs, even count. Oakland will be in Seattle tonight. Seattle's got 85 wins, but they've been eliminated. The 2-2 pitch. Good take, full count. It's real interesting, I think, to talk about the different way that Syndergaard and DeGrom attack their opponents. We've seen Jacob DeGrom throw that 96, 97 mile an hour fastball letter high. Syndergaard almost never does that. Both big time power arms, and the Braves are seeing them back to back in this series. Runner goes, huge jump, fly ball toward Jackson. That's slicing away from him, but he's going to get there in the raindrops and put it away for the first out.
Nick got a good jump too. Going back to what we talked about earlier tonight about Syndergaard having trouble holding runners.
I wonder if Mother Nature's helping him out. I don't know how good the footing is at first base, even with all the diamond dry they've applied between innings tonight. Here's Suzuki. He walked and was forced out at second in the second inning. And he hammers that toward third. Frazier to second for 1. McNeil the turn. And that's a double play. Atlanta's out of luck in the 4th inning. No runs, a hit, nobody left. 2-0 Mets. A-List membership is perfect for you. With an A-List membership, you'll get discounts on food, beverage, merchandise, and parking, access to exclusive Braves events, and a whole lot more. Get all the details at braves.com/A-List. Time for the Mets. Half of the fourth inning. They struck for 2 runs on 3 consecutive hits against Touki Toussaint. Nimmo, Jackson, and Nito is the trio coming up here in the home fourth. Nimmo walked in the second inning and was left standing there after Jackson, Nito, and Syndergaard all struck out looking on Touki Toussaint curveballs. Toussaint has struck out 5 men. He's walked 3. And strike one has been an elusive first pitch.
Sure has. You know, Nimmo mentioned he was 5 for his last 30, but he has an outstanding on base percentage since the All-Star break. .432, thanks in large part to at-bats like his last one where he drew a walk.
So for Touki Toussaint, one of your forward keys, time to shine. In some respects, he has shined tonight. But all these deep counts and all the walks have to be of concern. As you've said so many times, a base on balls is one of the deadliest things that can happen to a club in playoff baseball.
It hasn't come easy to him tonight, and early on gave him a pass because of the rain. But it's time to settle in now and start hitting the strike zone.
70 pitches, 38 strikes. And here's Jackson. He'll be on red alert for that curveball. It struck him out in the second inning. Line drive to center. And Ender to his right makes the play, 1 on, 1 out. Nimmo back to first. Here's Nito. That's inside. 1 ball, no strikes again.
Yeah, the catching core for the Mets this year. Did they lose Darno and Plawecki on consecutive days or just a few days apart?
It was awfully close. I know that.
Plawecki was able to come back. Hopefully Darno will be ready to go for them come spring training.
Mentioned the deal of Matt Harvey. It brought him that man on the right, Devin Mesoraco from Cincinnati. Mesoraco's been battling some neck problems for the Mets. So Tomas Nito's getting a little extended playing time. Called up from Binghamton. High fly ball to right, playable for Nick Markakis, and he'll make the one-handed catch. 2 outs, and Syndergaard will be the batter. He's sporting a 2-0 advantage.
I don't know how more catchers don't have more neck problems, and I'm not talking about foul tips. You ever put a catcher's mask on?
Yeah, it ain't light, is it?
Heavy.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that the hockey type mask might be a little lighter. I don't know. But the grill type mask, the old school mask, is heavy. You gotta have a strong neck.
Yeah, you just think of the weight of that mask pulling your head forward, and then you get that foul ball snapping it back. Not just the concussion, but the reaction to that time after time. Line drive to right. Markakis dives and makes a gorgeous catch with a runner going. That might have saved a base and maybe a run if he doesn't make the play. Good grab by Markakis. We head to the fifth.
Ozzie Albies set to lead off for the Braves, and you may have noticed after Ronald Acuna Jr. was hit in the elbow by the pitch, he started wearing this arm guard on his elbow to protect him. Well, Ozzie Albies actually started wearing the exact same arm guard just last week, and I asked him why, if there was anything in particular that made him want to start wearing it. And guys, to nobody's surprise, he just told me, nah, I just wanted to match my best friend. So before the game, he asked Acuna which color scheme he was going with. So Ozzie decided to go with the all red tonight and let me borrow this beautiful navy and red one today.
Yeah. You may need to put it on your head if it starts raining again, Kelsey.
It's like a little baby umbrella.
Yeah.
You know, it has not stopped raining besides one inning, maybe. I mean, it's been consistently coming down.
Yeah, it's a nasty night, isn't it?
Yeah, but hopefully they can pull it in, pull it out, get it in.
Here we go to the top of the fifth inning. Syndergaard leads 2-0. He's got the bottom part of the Braves order coming up. Albies, Charlie Culberson, remember, for Dansby Swanson. And then we'll see if there's a pinch hitter. First pitch, Ozzie pops it up again, left side. Frazier, he in foul ground, makes the play. He is so aggressive on that first pitch. I know he hits for a high average on the first pitch, but in the second half of the season, Ozzie has been popping up an awful lot.
I know that when Brian Snitker asked about it and Kevin Seitzer said, well, he's hitting 390 on the first pitch. That was way back. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I wonder what it has been since the All-Star break on the first pitch.
So here's Charlie. And Dansby left after his second inning at bat as a precaution. Left hand soreness was the word we got from the Braves clubhouse. A chance for Charlie to square off with Syndergaard as we play on in the fifth inning. Downstairs, ball one, strike one. As Joe told you in our pregame comments, these are not the Mets the Braves clobbered 12 out of the first 16 meetings. They are playing their best baseball right now. They've had a terrific September. As this ball is popped up toward Bruce at first, and at the cut of the outfield grass, he makes that catch. Back-to-back pop-ups, 2 quick outs. And we said this of New York earlier in the year. as the Braves were driving toward the division title. The Mets are a team nobody wants to play right now.
Exactly. It's because of all the pitchers they can run at you, and some hitters like Michael Conforto getting hot.
So more smiles for Mickey Callaway. And Tukey will hit for himself here. He struck out his first time up and had a good cut. Strike one. There's one of those high fastballs from Syndergaard. They've gotten underway in Chicago. Pirates nothing. Cubs batting in the bottom of the first inning. Brewers still lead the Cardinals 2-0. Braun and Aguilar homers in the first inning for the Brew Crew. LA visits Arizona and the Diamondbacks later on tonight. Braves with a half-game lead over Los Angeles for home field advantage in a potential playoff matchup with the Dodgers. And Walker Buehler's the man on the mound for Los Angeles tonight.
With those types of things still on the line, like home field advantage, it was said that Mickey Callaway said that David Wright would not get an at-bat against the Braves for fear that somebody might look at that as an unnecessary advantage, competitive advantage for the Braves, as they are still trying to get the home field advantage. I thought that was admirable on Callaway's part.
8-pitch inning for Syndergaard, who's checking out his right hand. He leads 2-0, and the top of his order's coming up. For October baseball, and Division Series tickets are on sale, but they won't last long. If you want to be at SunTrust Park next week, you'd better head to Braves.com/postseason and get your tickets today. Top of the order in the bottom of the fifth inning in New York. It's an official game at the moment. New York leads at 2-0. Mets have 3 hits. The Braves have but 2. Let's see if Tukey can have an easier time of it with the top 3 hitters for New York. And as always, the fifth inning is sponsored by Audi Q5. Conforto and Bruce with the RBI hits. They came in the third inning. 3 straight New York safeties brought home the game's lone runs.
Yeah, nice 1-2-3 inning would be helpful.
Ahmed Rosario has walked and flied out. And this one's popped out of play foul for an even count. That smoke toward short. Charlie stayed with it and throws a strike to first. 1 out. Rosario's 0 for 2. Here's McNeil. He's the man that got the Mets rally started with a third inning single. Here's an interesting, fateful thing. Jeff McNeil was the Mets' 12th round pick in 2013. He's facing Touki Toussaint. The Mets scout who signed him is named Drew Toussaint. Pop up into shallow center, and Ender is there. And Touki retires McNeil. Quickly 2 outs. Good start to the 5th inning. And here's Conforto, who just missed a 2-run homer his last time up. Conforto's double gives him a 5-game hitting streak. 28 RBIs this month. I assume he's a strong candidate for Player of the Month honors.
Gotta be. It was a tough night for the vendors, didn't it? You know, you got a sparse crowd because of the weather. You're carrying around that big old heavy hot dog bin on your head. I guess he could take it off his head, couldn't he? Carry it around.
Well, he has very soft hair. Cushions metal
think
case.
A lot of people want hot dogs, but so you can take it off and, you know, set it down and rest for a minute. But nobody buying right now.
I like that guy a lot better than the man that used to be here. As Conforto draws a walk. That's 5 of them from Touki tonight. Remember the vendor that would come right below us and ask folks if they wanted hot dogs, and he'd start barking? Oh my gosh.
Especially like this section right here below us.
Right in front of the radio and TV guys.
Yeah, tough night.
That guy is the Maytag repairman of hot dog vendors. So here's Bruce. He's walked, he's singled, he's knocked in a run, and he was thrown out trying to steal. It was a strike him out, throw him out double play in the 3rd inning. Bruce is the 22nd man Toussaint has faced tonight. He's thrown strike 1 to 7 of them.
That's not very good, is it?
No.
Tough night to pitch early on again. Last couple of innings, that's not been the case.
And the Braves bullpen phone is ringing as Touki's 88th is cut on and missed.
Well, they got red lights on their phones. In case you can't hear them, you know, crowd's loud or whatever. Red light starts blinking.
Luke Jackson appears to be shedding the warm up top. He'll get loose as that's taken low. Ball 3. When we get to the 6th inning, the Braves will have their 1, 2, 3 hitters coming up. Still a very manageable game. Bad news for Touki. He's walked a lot of guys. The good news is, by and large, he's been able to pitch out of these problems.
Well, he's had a great curveball and changeup.
And there's the curveball, and Bruce didn't get it. 5 walks. That is strikeout number 6. And 1, 2, and 3 coming up for Atlanta versus Noah Syndergaard. sport for the National League. Christian Yelich has a couple of cycles this year, and he's having another giant night for Milwaukee.
Man, oh man. Almost single-handedly.
So here's Acuna leading off the 6th inning for the Braves. Syndergaard has had his numbers so far tonight. 2 swinging strikeouts for Ronald.
The Brewers finished their season with the Detroit Tigers, too.
And while that is certainly odd scheduling, you have to have an interleague game every day because 15 teams in the National League, 15 teams in the American League. That could prove to be a huge break for the Brewers. The Tigers rebuilding. And while Milwaukee is playing Detroit, the Cardinals and Cubs are going to play the final weekend. That was tipped and caught. Bad break for Acuna. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So yes, a ton still to be decided in the National League playoff races as far as who plays whom in October. The pitch lifted out of play, still a ball and 2 strikes. The Phillies are underway in Colorado. That one's scoreless in the 2nd inning. The Phillies have fallen to 3rd place in the Eastern race. Phillies face the Braves this weekend. On a play foul. Bullpen gate is open and right. Now we're ready. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We got some hungry fans sitting right below us, Joe. One of the fans has got maybe the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Ice cream thing.
With sprinkles and the Mets home run apple. I mean, that cup of ice cream is gigantic. Man, oh man. High hopper hit toward short. Rosario's got it. Has to unload quickly and did. Acuna's retired, 1 out. We were told that young man came out of the All-Star break a different guy, hustling down the line. Got called out for loafing on a couple of plays earlier before the break. Someone got in his ear and said that shouldn't be acceptable, and he's been terrific since. A lot of energy, a lot of good work, and playing like he wants to be the starting shortstop for the Mets on opening day next year. Made a nice play on a high hopper to retire Acuna. Now Ender's the batter. He's 0 for 2. And a big swing and a miss. Let's pinch into the corners in case Ender thinks about a bunt. If he could reach, Freeman would represent the tying run. There's a base hit to right. It's not a bunt hit, but it's a hit nonetheless. And Ender with a big turnaround first. And with Nito backing up at the first base bag, Ender has to scramble back. And again, Atlanta does bring the tying run to the plate.
That was a nice swing. Ball running in on him. Got his hands inside the baseball. And got enough of the barrel to it to line it to right. Really good swing. Simplified everything. No real stride. Just used his hands.
So Ender's got 8 hits in his last 16 tries. Freddie Freeman doubled in the 1st inning. Another double here might give the Braves a run. Sloppy track. Let's see how the Braves played. Again, Syndergaard does not like to hold base runners. The Braves have not tried to run on him much in this game. They've had their share of base runners. A couple of walks, 2 singles and a double so far tonight. And Ender back standing. He's at first with 28 steals.
It's really not so much that he doesn't like to throw over there, Chip. It's that he always had such a high leg kick coming out of the stretch that it gave runners a little head start on him. So he's trying to, it's more of a slide step, mix it up. Because of his velocity, it makes up for a lot of delay to the plate, but he's trying to accelerate that a little bit. .66, 245.
Nothing in one. And that got away from Nito. Was it a foul ball? Apparently so. Thought for a moment the ricochet came off the catcher's shin guards, but apparently Freeman got a little piece of this. And he did. So Freddie tried to check his swing, but finds himself in a 2-strike hole here in the 6th.
Freddie chokes up, but no, that's not a Nellie Fox model that he's swinging.
High fly ball toward Conforto in left, and the Park's going to hold this one. And they're back to first. 2 are out, and Nick Markakis bats. Nick has reached twice with a walk and a single. Dan Winkler's now warming up in the Braves bullpen. Might see him in the 6th inning. New York 2, Atlanta nothing after 5 innings tonight. Braves have a threat here in the 6th, but it comes with 2 outs. Ender started, then stopped. Ball 1. Ball got loose in the right field corner, so Nimmo had to clean that up. Ender edges away at first. Even count.
I'll say this for Syndergaard tonight. He has worked both sides of the plate, and right on the edges he has kept the ball down, but he hasn't missed in the middle of the plate.
Pittsburgh's jumped in front of the Cubs 3-0 in the 2nd. Pirates are playing terrific baseball. Excellent pitching from Clint Hurdle's team. Another club few would like to face here in the final week. Ball 2.
Yeah, they're 3 games over 500, and they want to remain there. A lot of pride on that team.
Nick has the count in his favor. 2 balls and a strike. And pops it up. Missed his pitch. Will it stay in play for Frazier? Yes, it will. Markakis frustrated in the 6th inning. Ender left stranded at first, and the Mets look to add to a 2-0 lead in the home 6th. In a moment, we invite you to stick around for the 7th inning stretch presented by Synovus, the bank of here. Let's start with Touki Toussaint. 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts, the good news. 5 walks, the bad news. And the 3rd inning where the Mets tallied 3 hits in a row, the only offense for either club tonight.
Yeah, that's the only hits they have. They put them together and made it work. 3-0, 336 for Dan, whose season has kind of come in waves. First couple of months he was unhittable, outstanding, went through some dry spells.
Fly ball to right. Markakis in the corner has room, and Frazier's retired. He's 0 for 3.
But September has not been a good month for him.
And I think that's maybe the most difficult part of this going to the playoffs business for a team like the Braves. We've talked about it a lot. When you're trying to win a division, you don't worry about personal feelings. You worry about winning games. Whoever's got the hottest hand is the man that's going to get the opportunity. As Brandon Nimmo hits and has walked twice, I would assume, Joe, configuring your roster is the exact same situation. There are guys that have probably gotten the Braves to this point, but if they pitch poorly in September, they may be on the outside looking in for the first round.
Might be on the bubble. Dan Winkler this month, 3 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned runs, and 4 walks. Now, he hasn't pitched in a week, so maybe it was that he needed a break, needed a breather.
I think we'd all agree that Dan is much better than that September line you talked about for Atlanta.
No question.
But he's gone 3-0 to Nimmo, who's earned 24 walks this month. And that's his 25th. Again, that has been the overriding concern, in my opinion, for the Braves going into postseason play. Nothing wrong with Atlanta's defense. Folks are raving about this club's offense. They like the young pitching. They like the pitchability. But it's the bases on balls that have everybody wondering just exactly what's going to happen when the October bell rings.
Yeah, and what's going to happen translates to how far can they go.
Sure.
How far can they advance? And with a lot of walks, it won't be very far. You cannot give teams the quality of who you're going to be facing free base runners. You can't give them extra outs. You can't make a lot of errors. The team has been outstanding defensively. I'm not at all concerned about that. But the free base runners, an issue.
One here for Winkler with 1 out in the 6th inning. Austin Jackson is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And Dan turned that one loose for a strike. 2-1 the count. Mets 2, Braves nothing. We are in the home 6th. What's been a rainy night in New York has turned out to be a rather nice night now that the wet weather has stopped. New York has action in its bullpen. Wonder if Syndergaard is done. His spot's lurking on the lineup card here as the slider's in for a strike. 2-2. That's another shaggy-haired Mets pitcher, Robert Gesellman. He's given the Braves some trouble, if memory serves. The 2-2.
Gesellman's actually been closing some games for them. 12 saves. This is a little early for him lately.
Ground ball through the vacant right side of the infield, and Nimmo's on his way to third. Jackson with a very soft single puts runners at the corners with one out.
Looked like a solid hit and run. One out. Ozzie was covering, and it just shows you that if you just put it in play to the right side on a hit and run, you got a real good chance at a first and third.
So some old-fashioned baseball.
Barely got it to the outfield grass, and it worked.
So here's Nito. He has struck out and flied out. Nito's knocked in 6 runs in his last 12 games. RBI spot for him here, as that one's out of play, foul. Dominic Smith is in the on-deck circle. Looks like he'll pinch hit for Syndergaard here in the 6th inning. The trouble began with the one-out walk. That one hung up there, but Nito fouled it back. 0-2. That's line foul and right past C.B. Buckner. Wow, indeed. That was close.
It's very close.
Oh. Thankfully, that missed him. No balls, 2 strikes for Tomas Nito. Winkler would love some soft contact here. High pop into center. Ender will retreat. Nimmo's going to tag at third. There's the catch. And the throw will come into second. Nito does his job, a sac fly, and the Mets cash in the one-out walk to extend the lead. That, in a nutshell, is what happens when you walk people in the playoffs.
I was just going to say, Chip, that's what we've been referring to as a rally, and that happens over and over again with football clubs if you're in the postseason, and how they are able to manufacture a run thanks to a walk.
So Dominic Smith is going to hit for Syndergaard, who went 6 shutout innings. He struck out 5 men. He walked 2. Those walks came in the first 2 rain-drenched innings. Syndergaard allowed just 3 Atlanta hits. So the Braves are down 3. They'll have to make work with the New York bullpen, which has not been pitching very well. Hopefully that continues tonight. The pitch to Smith is nowhere near, ball 2. Dominic Smith had an 0 for 19 skid with runners in scoring position on September 21st. It was his first hit with a runner in scoring position this year when he picked up an RBI single.
Yikes.
And this is a guy that they have been hoping would be a cornerstone player for them at first base. .20 at first, 8 in left in 1 game as the DH this year for New York. He's been up and down between AAA and New York 4 times, but he's got a base hit into the right field corner. Jackson on his way to third. Smith on his way to second. The throw is going to be late. And Winkler's troubles continue in the 6th inning. Second and third with 2 outs and a run in. And Dominic Smith with a pinch hit double. So here's Rosario 0 for 2 with a walk. Again, one of the hot Mets hitters. This is what we feared. You don't want to have the bottom of the order feed the top of this lineup for New York. Not with Rosario, McNeil, and Conforto all swinging the bat very well. Sam Freeman's getting loose as that one's cut on and missed. Rosario behind 0-2. That's over the screen and out of play to our right. Sean Newcomb and Jacob deGrom hook up here tomorrow night. First pitch 7:10. Braves live 6:30 Eastern time. Another tough draw for the Braves offense. There's the National League Cy Young contender Jacob deGrom will go in game 2. Braves couldn't muster much against Syndergaard tonight. Now they're down 3-0. And the pitch grounded foul. St. Louis trying to come back at home against Milwaukee. It's now 6-3 Brewers after 4. Colorado jumps in front of the Phillies 3-1 in the third. Dodgers underway in Arizona. No score in the first. A little roller hit toward third. Camargo's going to come home, and that will retire the side. Jackson is the third out. I don't know why Johan came to the plate. He could have made the throw to first to end the inning.
He didn't know how many outs there were because he just walked back to his position and then checked the scoreboard.
Park is Saturday, November the 17th. Be a part of history as Kennesaw State takes on Jacksonville State. Go to Braves.com/KSU to order your tickets today. Well, good news, bad news. Good news is the Braves have Syndergaard out of the game. The bad news is they trail 3-0 and Robert Gesellman is on to pitch, and this is a man that has given the Braves a few problems.
He's a good weapon for Mickey Callaway in that he can start or relieve. This year 66 games all out of the bullpen, but he was in their rotation last year at the end of the year. He can pitch multiple innings. 92 to 94 fastball with a slider and a curve and a changeup. Like a starter, he's got several pitches.
Johan Camargo leads off the Atlanta seventh and takes a strike. What a valuable weapon. Gesellman, who could start for you, who can close for you, and if need be, get you 2 innings to get the game to your closer. That ball's hammered toward Jackson in left center. That ball's carrying out toward that wall. It's high off the fence, and Camargo's on his way to second with a leadoff double, and that starts the Atlanta inning. So that's the second Braves double of the game. It's their 4th hit of the game, and here comes Atlanta. It's the time of the game where they do an awful lot of damage, the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings.
Left a changeup up, and Johan hit it a ton, but in this ballpark on a night like this, it takes a lot to get it out, as we saw when the ball that Conforto hit.
Luckily for Johan, the throw to second was off target. He was able to get to second base to lead off the inning.
I think he thought he hit a homer.
And here's Suzuki. He's walked and hit into a double play. And Gesellman misses low, ball 1.
It's a good thing for Johan also, last out of the last inning, that Kurt Suzuki was heads up and stood out in front of the plate to take that throw from him. And apparently Camargo forgot how many outs there were.
That's a bouncing ball up the middle, and that's a base hit, and Camargo stopping at third, then turns on the jets and comes home, and he'll score standing up.
What's he doing? Oh, Johan.
So Suzuki with a base hit and an RBI, his 49th.
He must have thought that the fielder caught the ball. This ground ball advances him to third, but he didn't know that it got through. So right here, whoa.
He wasn't looking around Washington initially.
Well, the Braves are on the board.
And for Gesellman, that is the 6th earned run in 7 1/3 innings against the Braves this year. So maybe the right guy at the right time. Again, the Mets bullpen has really been hammered lately. 28th ERA in the major leagues. They've given up 22 earned runs in their last 34 2/3 innings. So you hope no lead safe for New York the rest of this game, the rest of this series, as the Braves have the tying run at the plate. Ozzie Albies back-to-back hits in the 7th off Robert Gesellman. And fouled back by Ozzie. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good swing.
Drew Smith and Jerry Blevins are the relievers getting ready in the Mets pen. And fouled away. Something else to keep in mind when you're facing this Mets relief corps, even playing in this big ballpark. They have given up 81 homers in relief. That's the 3rd most in the major leagues.
Sounds like a lot.
It's 81 homers in 528 innings. Well, they've got to get 9 outs and lead 3-1 now, with Culberson and then the pitcher spot coming up. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I'm glad Ozzie's okay. At least able to stay in the game after the slide by Jay Bruce at second base dinged him pretty good.
That was back in the 3rd inning. Front end of a strike him out, throw him out, double play. And strike 3 called. Ozzie knew it. 95-mile-an-hour pitch retires him. 1 on, 1 out, 1 in. And here's Charlie Culberson. Well, let's see if Charlie Clutch can come up with a big hit here in the 7th inning. He's hit a home run against the Mets this year. Fouled that one for a strike. Very small sample size for Culberson against Robert Gesellman. He's 0 for 2 in his career. Rio Ruiz has grabbed a bat. He would hit for Dan Winkler, barring a double play. And fouled off. It's 0-2. And Charlie pressed into duty after the Braves batted in the second inning. Dansby Swanson fouled a pitch off and then lined a pitch to center and came out for precautionary reasons because of a left hand problem. The pitch. On off foul. We'll do it again. Nito, a nice stop. 1-2. Good patience by Charlie after falling behind 0-2.
Should get a better pitch to hit here. He's really good when he's behind in the count of going the other way too. And he's gotten back even.
Got a big hole over there with Bruce holding Suzuki at first base. The pitch. And that almost hit him. Full count.
Maybe the Braves can first third them.
So you've got Rio on deck. You've got the catcher at first base. You've got Charlie up there with a 3-2 pitch. Runner holds the delivery. It's downstairs. Good comeback for Culberson. Behind 0-2. He earns a walk, and the Braves have the tying runners aboard now. And Rio Ruiz, the batter.
It's funny, isn't it, how a guy like Gesellman, who's been used lately to finish games, has collected 12 saves, and then all of a sudden you bring him in the 7th inning and somehow that's different. You struggle.
So Dan Winkler gives up a run, 2 hits, a walk in his inning of relief. And Rio Ruiz has a chance to bring home Suzuki with 1 out now. So Nito goes through his defensive signs in front of the plate. You see Rio 0 for 7. He's seen Gesellman before. Rio's 0 for 4 against him. And downstairs, ball 1. You've got Acuna lurking on deck.
Job laying off that 2-seamer, that sinker, trying to make him get the ball up.
What is it about the Braves and the late innings? 263 runs now from the 7th inning on for the Atlanta offense. They are never out of a game. The pitch. Cut on the missed. Good pitch. Good cut. Rio just missed it. 2-1. That's the one he wishes he had to do again. 2-2.
Wasn't his best fastball, and it was not in a good place.
So the runners lead the pitch. And tried to back up, but Rio took it. Full count. A lot of deep counts for Gesellman already here in the 7th inning. He just walked Charlie Culberson after getting ahead of him with 2 strikes. Now Rio's got a 3-2 count. So here we go. Payoff pitch. It's lifted to the left side. Frazier will give chase. That ball is into the seats. And then on the rebound, hey, great catch. That lovely lady made a nice play.
Sure did. Pretty obvious that the Braves are not going to be running on that 3-2 pitch because Kurt Suzuki is the lead runner, not the fastest Brave, and he's got a very short lead.
Line drive, that's slicing away from Jackson, but he got an excellent jump and then dropped it. He's got a chance for a throw at third, but the ball was wet and he made a terrible throw, and the Braves get a huge break. Jackson had it, he dropped it, then he had a play in front of him, couldn't make a good throw for a force out, and Atlanta has the bases loaded miraculously with Acuna coming up and 1 out.
That ball was really sinking. Looked like he made a heck of a play. Banged it into the ground, came right back up to him though, and then didn't come anywhere close to third base.
So it'll be an E8 on Jackson. The Braves continue their punishment of Gesellman this year. He leaves with a run in. The game on the bases for the Braves, and must-see TV Ronald Acuna is coming up. On the board and threatening here, down 2 runs. When the Braves are through hitting here in New York, we will send you to the stretch. It's presented by Synovus, the bank of here. Drew Smith will face Ronald Acuna Jr. with the bases loaded and 1 out. A double, a single, a strikeout, a walk, and an error has the Braves in business here in Game 1.
Tough spot here for Drew Smith. Bases full of Braves. 300 average against him by lefties and righties.
You like Ronald in this spot? He's 4 for 10 in his rookie season with the bases loaded. He's had a tough night tonight. That work came against Syndergaard. Now he's got Smith. in opposition with a Brave at every base. That one got away. Here comes Suzuki home to score. Everybody moves up. We got a one-run game. It's 3-2.
That one got right through the legs of Nito. We talking about him earlier doing a good job back there, but that one got right through the 5-hole.
So it's a wild pitch. And now a hit could put Atlanta in front. It's 3-2 Mets. And Acuna drives one down the left field line. That ball's sinking. That ball is dropping. That ball is down. One run scores. Here comes Rio. Acuna puts the Braves in front with a base hit down the left field line. And Atlanta with a 4-run seventh leads 4-3.
Of course they do. It's the 7th inning or later.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yes, it is. This was a good swing. This was a little bit like Ender's swing a couple of innings ago. Ball running in on him, pulled his hands in, got his hips cleared, and kept it fair.
So the Braves have come all the way back from a 3-0 deficit to lead 4-3. They are pummeling the beleaguered Mets bullpen tonight. And now Ender's the batter with a runner at first. He had a good cut and fouls it back. It's worth repeating again, Joe, because it is so true, and it's something we will harp on this final week. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Walks are so devastating to your club's chances to win, especially in the late innings. And the Gesellman walked to Culberson after he got ahead of him with 2 strikes, one of the key at bats in this inning.
And it's typically, I think in Gesellman's case, a case where you're trying to not allow any damage. You don't even want any contact, and you're trying to be too fine. And instead of 0-2, all of a sudden you find yourself 2-2, 3-2, and have to throw a strike. And he couldn't.
And so for Noah Syndergaard, who pitched 6 innings of 3-hit shutout ball, his hopes for a 13th win gone in the blink of an eye here in the 7th inning. And Touki Toussaint off the hook. Dan Winkler off the hook. As Gesellman allowed 4 runs and retired just 1 batter. That stayed high. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
Syndergaard had a taste of the DeGrom factor.
Yes, he did. Braves lead by a run. Long way to go in this one, but the result's a lot more encouraging now. A.J. Minter is up in the Atlanta bullpen. Looks like he'll come on for the bottom of the 7th. With McNeil, Conforto, and Bruce. Left-hand hitters aplenty in that sequence. That makes sense to use Minter there.
Well, speaking of guys who have been closing, used in a different role.
One ball, 2 strikes, and way high. It's 2-2. Jerry Blevins is ready in the New York pen. Barring a double play, I'm guessing Blevins would face Freddie Freeman. We will see. 2-2 is cut on and missed. And Ender's retired on strikes. That's the 2nd out of the inning. Here comes Freeman. Let's see if Mickey Callaway pops out or if he'll let Smith face Freddie here. Looks like he will. So 4 in, 1 on, 2 outs. Freddie Freeman has a double, a strikeout, and a flyout. And out of play foul. And Atlanta has a half game advantage over the Dodgers for home field advantage in that potential divisional series matchup. Los Angeles has struck first in Arizona. Cody Bellinger has hit a home run for LA. No surprise, they hit a zillion home runs. They lead the Diamondbacks 1-0 in the desert. Don't forget, the Dodgers finished the season with the Giants. And you know San Francisco would love to derail the Dodgers' hopes for home field advantage in a series. The pitch. That's launched out of play, 1-2.
I'll be interested to see how the Dodgers fare against any left-handed starters the Giants run out there, whether it be Suarez or Bumgarner, just to see how they are tested there, because they do not hit as well against lefties as they do right-handers.
Ronald Acuna Jr. with a base hit down the left field line brings home 2 runs and puts the Braves in front. The pitch to Freddie is up and away. Ball 2.
Smith's got a good arm. His fastball's been in the upper 90s. Made a good off-speed pitch to Ender to get the strikeout.
And a swing and a miss. So Smith gives up the hit to Acuna, then strikes out Ender and Freddie Freeman, but not before the Braves score 4 in the 7th and take the lead. It's time to stretch. Braves lead game 1, 4-3 your score. Minter has in store for us here in the bottom of the 7th inning. You know, AJ has served as the Braves closer while Arodys Vizcaíno has been out with a shoulder injury. This is a closing like inning because 3 of their hottest hitters are all coming up in this inning. They're all left-handed. McNeil, Conforto, and Bruce. So a, shall we say, progressive use of the bullpen here with the lefty-lefty matchup in the 7th.
Yeah, so sometimes the save may not be in the 9th inning.
A bunt try. First pitch. Minter fires to first. Thank you very much. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Might not be a save per se by the book, but it's a matchup that you like better, so you're trying to run the guy out there that you think has the best chance of retiring these left-handed hitters.
I don't know that A.J. Minter's pitched in the 7th inning all year.
I don't know that he has either.
I would doubt that he would. So my question to you is, does a relief pitcher in this spot worry about the inning, or does he approach this like it's the 9th, knowing that this is a situational appearance for him with a 1-run lead in the 7th, not the 9th?
I would guess that they've had this discussion already with the staff, that there might be matchup innings that are in innings you're not accustomed to pitching lately. But be ready, because this is what's coming.
Michael Conforto's the batter. He's bounced out, doubled, scored, walked.
I like it. I think it's terrific, especially with Vizcaino back, who can pitch the 9th if you need him to. The next time around, it might be Vizcaino who's pitching in the 7th inning against some right-handers.
2 balls, no strikes. And a base hit the other way. So AJ fell behind, and Conforto, the hottest hitter on the Mets, made him pay for that. He's got a 2-hit night. As hot as he's been, you're thankful he kept it in the ballpark.
Sure.
And now Bruce, the batter, he's got a single, a walk, an RBI, and a strikeout. 4-3 Atlanta. Mets have the tying run aboard, and Jay Bruce. Bruce, a .221 hitter against lefties. Atlanta has a shift on for him, as that went up and under his chin. And Suzuki had to stretch out. He saved Bruce. He also saved the home plate umpire, Chris Conroy. If Suzuki doesn't catch that, that hits Chris right in the mask, I'll bet.
Minter wanted a new baseball, and Chris Conroy was happy to give him a new ball to work with.
1 ball, no strikes. And that went in the dirt. Ernie Johnson would have said of that previous pitch from Minter, Kurt Suzuki's going to have to go to the tailor and lengthen the left sleeve on his sport coat after that bad toss. So here we are again, the lefty-lefty advantage negated by the 2-0 count. Ball 3. Again, they're not trying to not throw strikes. They just are not throwing strikes as a group. Tukey walked 5. Winkler walked 1. Minter's in jeopardy of walking Jay Bruce here.
Here are the splits for AJ against lefties and righties. 224, pretty good against the lefties.
Conforto doesn't run much. He's 2 out of 6 in stolen bases. It's just a courtesy throw over there, I would think. 3 balls and a strike. The pitch. Got the inside corner call. Perfect pitch. Bruce didn't think so. Full count. Todd Frazier is on deck.
We'll use that cutter here. Run it away from him.
He swung and missed.
He did.
It wasn't a strike, and Bruce couldn't resist. Big second out for A.J. Minter. And a runner at first now, 2 outs, and Frazier the batter.
It was ball 4, but it was that cutter running away from him.
And you can just see the look of absolute frustration and disgust from Jay Bruce after he was late to recognize that was off the plate.
I like to think of it as disdain.
Disdain?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with that. As a called strike, as Frazier behind in the count. Frazier is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Come to think of it, that's a facial look we saw an awful lot yesterday, but we won't go into that. No balls and a strike. As Conforto leads at first. took a little off. Milwaukee 7, St. Louis 4, 6th inning. Colorado 6, Phillies 1 in the 4th. Pirates 4-0 over the Cubs in the 5th. LA still leads 1-0 over Arizona. That's in the 3rd inning. The pitch. Right there, strike 2.
David Dahl has a 3-run homer for Colorado in that game at Coors Field.
Rocky's got good news. Trevor Story's back and playing for them.
Yeah, and swinging well.
After he hurt his elbow on a throw down in Arizona. Don't count out the Rockies yet. The pitch. Just missed.
Yeah, they're only a game and a half behind LA.
Yeah, so while the Dodgers have Arizona, Colorado's got the slumping Phillies. Colorado finishes with Washington the final 3 games. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Frazier. Here it comes. And nice stop by Suzuki. So advantage for the Mets. Conforto with good speed will get a head start here with 2 outs. Brave shade Frazier toward right field ever so slightly in the outfield. The runner goes. The pitch is outside, ball 4. Every Braves pitcher's walked at least 1. And Nimmo has walked 3 times and has scored once. And he's the next hitter. 25 walks for Nimmo in September. And the problem with that 2-out walk is with Conforto at second, a base hit could tie the game. But he too a left-hand hitter. Get ahead of this guy. The pitch. He did. Strike 1.
Good pitch. Good start. Put him in the spot where he's got to swing the bat to protect the plate. And is not teeing off on the pitch from the pitcher with the count in his favor where he can guess and guess right or only have it be 2-1.
Letter high and perfectly placed. 0-2. So now Minter has a couple of chances to use that cutter away from the lefty if he wants it.
Where your defense needs to know what the pitch is going to be. If it's that cutter going away, then you need that hole plugged up a little bit to the right of Charlie Culberson.
It was, but it missed. Kurt's done a nice job back there. He's been riding a bucking bronco with all the balls in the dirt tonight. And the ones that have missed high and away, high and in. He's saved a handful of wild pitches in this game. So we're ready now with a 1-2 pitch. You'd like to resolve the at bat right here.
Pitch of decision. Make him swing.
The 2-2 is grounded toward short. Charlie's got it. He'll race to the bag and he'll win that race, and that retires the side. A interesting 7th for Minter, a hit and a walk, but 2 stranded, and he preserves a 1-run lead. Defensively, a fine catch made by Markakis in the 4th inning. It's our StatCast AI powered by AWS.
Yeah, and it was pretty wet out there about that time, too. The grass soaked from all the earlier rain in the day, and then during the first part of the game, covered a lot of ground on a catch that was estimated by someone at 40%. So he was above average then, right?
I don't know how that works.
60%. He covered that up.
Yeah,
made
well,
the
yeah,
catch.
yeah. The catch result was 100%.
Yes, it was.
The most important statistic. As Jerry Blevins comes on to pitch the 8th inning. A little insurance wouldn't hurt. The Braves got 4 in the 7th to turn the game around. Braves are trying to go 7-1 here in New York and win their 13th game against the Mets this season. Nick's been on base twice. He's walked and singled. And Blevins with a very slow breaking ball gets ahead. Strike 1.
For most of the year, he's been their only lefty in the bullpen. I think they called up another left-handed reliever, Daniel Zamora, just so Jerry would have a friend.
Fly ball to center. Jackson retreats. And at the deepest part of the yard he goes and handles that one. Markakis retired. And there's the first out.
At least a left-handed one.
Right. Johan Camargo doubled in the 7th. That was against Robert Kesselman. He scored the first Braves run. Mets need Blevins to finish the season better than he has over his last handful of appearances. He's given up 6 runs in his last 3 innings. And this one's banged toward third. Ball off the pocket of Frazier. Bobbles, can't pick it up. So Camargo belly flops in at first base. We'll see how that's scored. He's aboard for the 2nd time. And Kurt Suzuki will bat with Johan at first base and 1 out.
Backhanded boing out of the glove and then couldn't corral it. E5.
Second error in as many innings for the Mets. Not to mention a wild pitch that brought home a run.
I'll go with that one. I thought the error charge to Jackson on that line drive was a little harsh.
Crowd count tonight in New York, 21,943. Braves trying to add on in the 8th against Blevins. Suzuki with an RBI hit in the 7th. And that's up and away, ball 1. And the secret to beating New York is, number 1, you hope Syndergaard, DeGrom, and Wheeler have off days. If that doesn't happen, the Mets in this regard are kind of a throwback team. Get the starter out as fast as you can and go to work against the bullpen. That is not normally the case in the major leagues now. All the flamethrowers that come out and pitch so effectively. But that's not been a strength of the Mets this year. There's a good pitch from Blevins. 2 balls and a strike. Mets have allowed 64 earned runs in their last 81 innings. And so to Joe's point about the good work of Syndergaard, the good work of DeGrom, when you don't score a lot of runs for those guys and then your bullpen wastes a good effort, that's got to be enormously frustrating. 2-2 pitch. Good take, full count.
Well, you only have to look at DeGrom's work against the Braves this year. What's he made? 5 starts. He has not won a game, and the Mets have not won a game that he started against Atlanta. Despite the fact that he's got a sub-2 ERA, like a 1.7 ERA, and they haven't won any of those games.
Popped up. Let's see if this reaches the seats. Bruce gives chase near the rail. and won't have a play. Well, that was what was so interesting about that graphic we showed at the start of the broadcast tonight. The road ahead for Atlanta over these final 6 games. There's a lot of quality pitching they're going to face in rotation for the Mets and the Phillies. And I believe the math on those 6 men was they're 3-11 against Atlanta. So the point we're trying to make is the Braves have done some of their best work against the best pitchers in the National League.
Yeah, just ask Max Scherzer.
There's a shot hit toward left. That's a long run. Conforto. It's over his head and off the base of the wall. Here comes Camargo streaking around third. They're going to wave him home. He's going to score standing up. And Kurt Suzuki has his 2nd run scoring hit of the game. And the Braves add to their lead. It's 5-3.
His 50th RBI of the year. Acuna picked up his 60th RBIs of the year earlier. That jumped off Kurt's bat. And just out of the reach of Conforto.
So Kurt Suzuki, a big night. Atlanta leads by 2. They cash in another New York error. Let's see if Albies can bring home Suzuki. Ozzy's 0 for 3. And has 4 hits in his last 35 at bats. Batting right-handed now. And called a strike. Not sure about that one. 0-1. Braves are riding a 5-game win streak, trying to extend that to 6 in a row in the win column. They trailed 3-0 after 6. 4 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. A storyline that should sound very familiar to Braves country.
Indeed.
Here in 2018. Two and one. Margot scored a couple of runs. Suzuki's scored. Culberson scored. Rio Ruiz has scored for Atlanta. And that ball is hammered down the left field line. And no doubt about it, homer for Ozzy Albies. And the Braves have broken the game open in the 8th inning. Home run number 24 for Ozzy. And his 4th home run against Mets pitching this year, and Atlanta's scored 7 runs tonight.
His 4th homer and RBIs 11 and 12 against the Mets. Big loopy curveball. Ozzy was looking for it. Bing, bang, boom.
And that is the end of the line for Jerry Blevins. He gives up 2 earned runs, 3 runs total in a 1/3 of an inning. The old ERA killer costs Blevins tonight. 7-3 Atlanta. We continue in the 8th inning.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
Mets bullpen's allowed its 82nd homer. They've allowed 7 runs in an inning and a third so far tonight. Ozzie Albies with a big 2-run shot. And now the Mets go back to their bullpen. Tyler Bachelor is on.
23rd game for him. Pretty good numbers though, 200 against lefties. You know what I loved about Ozzie's homer is that it wasn't on the first pitch, and even though he took a pitch on the first pitch and it was called a strike, borderline strike at that, he still came around to hit a homer.
Bachelor missed badly, thankfully. Bachelor's from Braves country. Was born in Springfield, Georgia, April 16th, 1993. He went to the Cavalry Day High School in Savannah, went to South Georgia State College. Pitched in the Futures Collegiate Baseball League in Connecticut after his freshman year. Then went back to college for the sophomore year to pitch again at South Georgia State. Mets took him in the 11th round of the draft in 2013. Missed the 14 and 15 seasons because of injury. Tommy John.
And that's tough. Those 2 years.
And he's gone to a full count for Charlie Culberson. Chad Sabatka is getting ready for the 8th inning for Atlanta. He has opened some eyes with some very impressive September performances. And again, they all mean a lot this time of year. You talk all the time about going into the playoffs on a hot streak. Well, pitchers ride hot hands, managers ride hot pitchers. And right now, Sabatka might be one of them. Braves lead by 4 after trailing by 3 after 6. And ground ball, that's going to be knocked down. Rosario, good play, but he can't make the transfer. Good job to keep that ball on the infield, but Culberson has an infield hit. He's 1 for 2.
1 for 2 with a walk. Again, Charlie doing something really good, coming in off the bench after Dansby got hurt in his first at bat. Charlie always seems to do something to help you win.
So Preston Tucker will come on and bat for A.J. Minter, who went an inning with a hit, a walk, and a strikeout, but most importantly, no runs. So an infield hit puts Charlie at first. Tucker the batter. And he hits one high in the air to right, but right at Nimmo on the first pitch. And there is the first out, recorded by Bachelor, the second out of the inning. And we go back to the top where the hitting hero tonight, Ronald Acuna, is up. He put the Braves in front with a 2-run single his last time up. .41 RBIs for Ronald Acuna since moving to the leadoff spot. That'll work. And that's downstairs, ball 1.
You pointed out that the Mets have made 2 errors tonight. They're not a bad fielding team, but it's another example of a team like the Braves who don't strike out a lot. They put the ball in play. They force you to make plays. Sometimes they force you into mistakes by hustling and going, taking the extra base, maybe cause a bad throw. But both of the guys, Ruiz, who got on when what was charged an error to Jackson, he scored. And now Camargo reaches on the error by Frazier, and he comes around to score. So putting the ball in play rather than striking out caused a couple of mistakes.
And as you know from your playoff experience, that's something else you want to do consistently, quite obviously. Force the issue.
Force the issue.
2 balls and a strike for Acuna. Culberson at first with 2 outs. The pitch is hammered toward right. That ball is slicing away from Nimmo. That ball's headed for the corner. That ball is foul. From our broadcast position, we lose sight of the baseball about 75, 80 feet from the foul pole in that corner, so we had to wait for C.B. Buckner to make the call as the stands jut out, but C.B. was down the line, had a good look at it, and Acuna back to the plate now with a 2-2 count. Good cut.
Sure was.
At 98, he had that baby squared up, but just missed it.
Just an amazingly quick bat. The only reason he's still up there, fight that pitch off and live to see another one.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Good stop. Yankees won. They beat Tampa Bay 9-2. Oakland is leading Seattle. How about this score? 5-3 Oakland. They're in the second. That game at Safeco Field in Seattle. Houston won again. They beat Toronto 4-1. 3-2 pitch. Charlie leads and goes. And Acuna got hit again. This one up and in. And Acuna plunked on a 3-2 count. He sheds the elbow guard, the shin guard, and slowly makes his way to first base. Let's find out where this pitch hit him.
He's shaking his hand, and I was worried that it pinched his hand on the bat, which would have been horrible. Looks like it got part shin guard and then rolled up his arm into the hand. Glad he didn't get hit with a bat.
And I hope on the ricochet it didn't get the left hand either.
Yeah, it was close.
So an infield hit and a hit batsman allowed by Bachelor here in the 8th inning. Let's see if Ender can chase home Charlie and add insult to injury for the Mets. Braves lead at 7-3. And way high, ball 1. There's a good pitch, even count. Moving towards 11 o'clock here in New York. Braves have had base runners all over the place starting in the 7th inning. Braves got 4 in that inning. They've got 3 in the 8th. New York jumped in front 3-0. 2 runs in the 3rd, 1 in the 6th. Touki Toussaint started for the Braves, gave up just 2 runs despite walking 5 men in 5 innings. Winkler and Minter have followed to this point. And the pitch is lifted to the left side. Rosario is out. Conforto is in, and that retires the side. Ozzie Albies hit a 2-run homer. Kurt Suzuki with a run-scoring double. And the Braves, with 3 more runs in the 8th inning, have broken the game open. It's 7-3 Bravos in Game 1 here in Gotham. Best always feature. Let's look at the head-to-head work by the Braves against the Mets. Big reason why Atlanta's dominated the East is their play head-to-head here in New York.
Well, you kind of like it when you're averaging right at 5 runs a game and you're only giving up 2.5. That works out to your favor most times.
Yes, it does. Atlanta's 6-1 here in New York. They have a +20 run differential in the 7 games completed here so far. And now Chad Sabatka is on. This young man is opening some eyes with his good work in relief, and now he's on in the 8th inning.
I'd say he's blasting some eyes open. He has been outstanding. No runs allowed since he was called back up. He covers 5 innings. No hits allowed. No runs. 4 walks.
You hear what the fans are chanting?
5 strikeouts.
We want David.
Oh.
They're calling for David Wright. 1-1 pitch is caught on and missed. 87-mile-an-hour slider.
I like this big horse. He doesn't seem to be intimidated in any way.
And a swing and a miss takes care of Jackson. Back-to-back sliders retires the Mets center fielder. And 1 out here in the New York 8th. Fantasy camp's coming back. It's January 2019. Mark your calendars for a report date in Orlando. You'll get a personalized uniform, quality time with Braves alumni, and more. Space is limited. Sign up for Fantasy Camp now at braves.com/fantasycamp. Your highlight of Fantasy Camp will also be spending every waking breakfast moment with Fred Stone.
That alone worth the price of admission.
You got it. Here's Nito, who's 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Kevin Plawecki's grabbed a bat. He's on deck. Foul back. Again, David Wright has been activated by the Mets. His last big league game, May 27th, 2016. He is going to start Saturday, the final Saturday for the Mets against the Marlins. High hopper right to Camargo, who's got it, and his peg on the money, 2 outs. And so Kevin Plawecki's going to get booed because he's not David Wright in the 7-3 game. But you can understand why the Mets have to be very careful with David Wright. The last thing they want to do is have David Wright pinch hit, hurt himself, and not be able to play on Saturday, where they're expecting a gigantic crowd to say goodbye to their beloved captain, number 5, David Wright. So it's Plawecki for Bachelor here. A strike from Sabatka.
Just pounding the strike zone.
What you should do with a 4-run lead late.
You know it.
Again, as a Braves fan, it's easy to not be a fan of the New York Mets. As a baseball fan, it's impossible not to be a fan of David Wright. And I, for one, am sorry we won't be here to see him play on Saturday. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Suzuki's got to hustle to find it. Catcher running. Throw to first is not in time. So Plawecki's going to reach on the strikeout and the wild pitch. And the inning will continue with Rosario coming up, a runner aboard, and 2 out.
Big hard slider, took a huge hop.
Soho Sabatka with a runner at first, and Rosario, the hitter, 0 for 3 with a walk. That's lined out of play, foul, a strike. Washington beat Miami tonight. Speaking of the Marlins, that's a 9-4 final. The Nationals have passed the Phillies for second place in the division.
Yeah, I think that was Max Scherzer. And if it was, he's probably going to pitch the last day of the season against Colorado at Coors Field.
Maybe for all the marbles, right?
Might mean a lot.
Ground ball hit right to second. Ozzy's got it. Sabatka with another very impressive inning. 2 ground outs, 2 strikeouts, a wild pitch the only blemish, and we are off to the 9th with Atlanta in command.
That was the first CD I ever bought because of just that song. You know what I mean?
Baja Man.
Baja Man. There you go. There it is. Baja Man.
We go to the top of the 9th inning. Freddie Freeman will lead off for Atlanta. The Braves were down 3-0 after 6 innings. Got 4 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th. That gives Atlanta 269 runs this year from the 7th inning or later in the 2018 season.
With more to come.
You bet. Jacob Rhame is the new Mets pitcher. He's the 5th reliever to work. He's on for his 28th outing. And Freddie didn't get that. A swing and a miss. Mets have made 2 costly errors tonight. The Braves have cashed them in. It'll be very interesting to hear Brian Snitker's comments on Braves Live about the Braves pitching performances tonight. Again, Touki Toussaint started for Atlanta. He bent, didn't break. He gave up a couple of runs. He walked 5 Mets in the game. I agree with you, Joe. Some of that attributed to the lousy weather, as a sinking line drive is going to be caught by Brandon Nimmo. Terrific play. That baby had a ton of top spin and he hung with it. Good effort. 1 out.
This guy loves to play, and you can tell by watching him. You know, they needed a gate closed while ago. He hustled over there to get the gate closed. He hustled over to get a ball that had come loose out on the field.
Not to sound like someone who's going to say get off my lawn, but it truly is noticeable, isn't it?
Yeah, and he hustles to first on a walk. You know, he gets your attention. A little bit of Hunter Pence in him, and that's a good thing.
Yes, yes it is. Here's Nick. Ball 1 outside. Dan Winkler pitched an inning, gave up a couple of hits and a run. A.J. Minter 1 hit in his inning. Sabatka a shutout frame in the 8th. And it looks like Arodys Vizcaino has gotten up and is beginning to throw for the bottom of the 9th inning. Of all of the Braves, he may have the freshest arm. Will it be Vizcaino? Will it be Sabatka? Will it be Minter closing games for Atlanta late the rest of the way? As this one lined right back to Rame. That caught him flush. Throw to first is late. Ball dropped. Everybody's safe. And let's see if Rame's all right. That sounded nasty.
I mean, it just dropped and then rolled off the mound.
Rame says he's fine, but Mickey Callaway's going to come out and make sure.
103 miles an hour. Right in the pocket.
That, as they say, is going to leave a mark.
Yes, it will.
So he only needs one pitch to pronounce himself fit to continue. Markakis with another multi-hit game.
Oh boy, more on the leg than the hip.
Like a hip pointer. So 2 more hits for Markakis. His 56th, I believe, multi-hit game. And here's Camargo. He scored a couple of runs. Yep, 56 multi-hit games for Nick. That's 2 ahead of Arenado of Colorado. Nick with 184 hits. Freddie Freeman with 187 leads the National League. Braves might have 2 guys finish with 200 hits.
Wonderful.
Ender Inciarte did it last year for Atlanta. No balls and a strike.
Surprised me at all. Both of them did it.
Popped up. Rosario drifts back. He'll give way to Conforto. And Michael makes the play. 2 outs. Markakis back to first. Here's one of the Braves' unsung heroes tonight, Kurt Suzuki. I think Kurt's finest hour has not necessarily been at the plate, but in coaxing Touki Toussaint through 5 innings where he had no fastball command at all tonight.
Yeah, as evidenced by the 1 inning, was at the 2nd inning, bottom of the order. He'd walked the leadoff guy and then struck out the next 3 guys looking all on his curveball.
And you called it. I mean, you said that Touki was basically a curveball changeup pitcher, and it was good enough.
Well, he was able to locate those. His fastball just was here, there, and everywhere.
Touki threw strike 1 to 7 of the 22 hitters he faced, but only gave up 2 runs. Again, good news, bad news. Lots of base runners. The best news is just 2 runs came in. No balls, 2 strikes from Rame, and Suzuki couldn't stop himself, and that retires the side. Rame wins awards for courage after taking a line drive off his hip, and we go to the bottom of the 9th. moment. Big day for my partner. September 24th, 1975. I'll bet you remember like it was yesterday. Your first major league hit.
Jack Murphy Stadium, San Diego. Pretty awesome.
Off of Dave Tomlin. What was the pitch?
I don't remember. It's a left-hander.
Yeah.
Just a bouncer that got through. But the kicker to that is, in keeping with my career, got the ball and had it. When we got back to L.A., it was in my locker, but Nobi Kawano, our equipment manager, saw the ball in there and took it and put it in a ball bag somewhere because he thought I was stealing balls.
Perfect.
I said, Nobi, where's my first hit baseball? It's in my locker. Oh, I thought that was just a ball that you had in your locker.
Really?
Yeah, and so I'll go get you one.
Stay hot.
Thanks, Nobi.
Yeah. Well, hey, happy anniversary.
Thanks, yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Great day.
First major league hit. Wow, what an unforgettable accomplishment for my partner, Joe Simpson, 43 years ago. Didn't want to have to mention that part, but I'm supposed to read the cards, and that's what the card said. So here's Vizcaino going to the bottom of the ninth inning. He's got McNeil, Conforto, and Bruce coming up. He's got a 4-run lead. Let's see if Roadies can have an easy and uneventful frame. He picked up the save on September 22nd.
I think he looks terrific. You know, I hope he feels as good as he's throwing the ball. What a wonderful asset he will be.
Mile high pop up. This one right at Ozzie at second base, and Vizcaino has the first out in the ninth inning. Saturday before our Braves and Phillies coverage, catch an ACC doubleheader on Fox Sports Southeast. First it's Bowling Green and Georgia Tech at noon, followed by Rice and Wake Forest at 3:30. ACC Saturdays on South, presented by your local Ford dealer. Yeah, Vizcaino missed 55 games with right shoulder inflammation. Also missed 8 other games. So that's 63 games that he was not available because of that problem. And so assuming the shoulder is sound, and velocity would tell you that it is, he should have a very fresh arm. And I guess the next challenge for Roadies would be, can he pitch back-to-back days?
Yeah, this is only his 38th game. That's good. And you're right. They may need to find that out before the week is out.
The Braves bullpen phone is ringing. Atlanta leads by 4. They've held the Mets to 6 hits. A ball and a strike for Conforto. He's reached 3 times and takes a slider for a strike. Arizona bats in the bottom of the 5th inning, trailing the Dodgers 1-0. LA got a Bellinger homer early. Rockies lead 8-3 in the 6th inning. Milwaukee 7-4 over the Cardinals in the 7th. Cubs are getting shut out by the Pirates tonight. And strike 3 called. A paint job by Vizcaino, and that's the second out. MLB at Bat, your #1 Braves app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this year. Get Braves home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Jay Bruce, the final New York hope. And he pops it up left side. Camargo drifts over. Shift was on. Lone Ranger on the left, and the Braves have come back to beat the Mets. Atlanta led 3-0 behind, or New York led 3-0 behind Noah Syndergaard. But the Braves came storming back against the beleaguered Mets bullpen and win their 89th game. Their 7th in 8 tries in New York. And 7-3, Joe, the final score here in Game 1 of our final road trip of the year.
It's just so great to see how these guys get into other teams' bullpens and go to work, take advantage of mistakes, and just keep adding on runs. It's so awesome.
So Atlanta 89-68. They continue to own that half-game lead over the Dodgers no matter what happens out in the desert. So we'll talk about that and a thrilling Braves comeback in New York on Braves Live presented by Xfinity. That's coming up next.